Well, once again, a mistreated American flag is the fashion accessory on college campuses and among every pseudo-revolutionary across the country. Dissatisfied citizens, taking their style cues from those trendsetters in the Middle East, have been seen displaying their flags upside down, under their feet, and as ever-waving class alphas. This has not had the desired effect. Protesters are claiming that their message is being mischaracterized and that their true intent is to draw attention to their carefully considered and highly nuanced complaints of particular policies, socioeconomic conditions, and political movements in the country. Despite their lack of success, however, most groups are citing their First Amendment rights and standing their ground, with no plans to stop or even suspend flag desecrations. This is not sitting well with defenders of the flag, who have confronted protesters and taken to social media and network news to object to the flag being used as a means of political speech. This very vocal opposition glorifies the flag, not only as the symbol of our country, but also as the very embodiment of our military, and they view this particular form of dissent as a direct insult to all those who have served and sacrificed. But this is America. So as you would expect, despite their differences, all parties are remaining calm, rational, and committed to a deep and meaningful dialogue that's guaranteed to heal all wounds. Okay, let's get into it. To defenders of the flag, including and especially my brothers and sisters of the armed forces, as a grandson, nephew, cousin, and friend of veterans, and as a veteran myself, I have to say, a lot of you are taking yourselves way too seriously. Our flag means a great deal to a great many, me included, but advocating that it somehow in some way is the lone symbol of sacrifice and anything short of worship is tantamount to treason does little to express the full depth and breadth of military service or impress upon the world that you've embraced the complexities of democracy. And citing your service as justification to feel injured or persecuted so that you can deny someone their rights to express themselves freely seriously undermines your credibility as a defender of freedom. None of us, no matter how great our sacrifice, have a monopoly on liberty. Our service doesn't entitle us to dictate to others or to sit supreme over those who haven't worn a uniform and declare ourselves the keepers of patriotic virtue. We are entitled only to the benefits we earned, the lifelong bonds we formed, and the solemn pride that comes from having made and kept a commitment to something greater than ourselves. Service is its own reward. It's not done for recognition, congratulations, or special treatment. If that's what you were after, you should have skipped the military and just joined the Air Force. Patriotism comes in many forms. As difficult as it may be, if you can set aside the emotional component of flag desecration, you'll see that it reveals a remarkable underlying beauty, far greater than the superficial ugliness of the act. It speaks to our fidelity to the greatest truth ever stumbled upon by humanity, that self-determination is our birthright. We are free to think what we want. We are free to not accept. We are free to always ask for more, better, truer, greater. We're free to do all this because above all else, we're guaranteed the right to talk back. We're guaranteed the right to say the unpopular thing to the popular people. That's the America you fought for. That's something you can be proud of. That's not a symbol. It's a fundamental component to a democratic people. It's a great gift you've given, and gifts aren't conditional. Now, to all of you out there who think that by standing on, stomping, or igniting an American flag, you're making a profound statement, you're not. It's not an original idea, and it's not an act of enlightenment. It's the temper tantrum of political discourse. In your race to be sensational, you confused hate for thought and agitation for action, and let anyone genuinely interested in the continual progress of our republic know that you're not looking for solutions. You're looking for attention. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but it takes a lot more than $20 in an Amazon Prime account to become the voice of a generation. There are no shortcuts to political revolution. Real gains come only after movements abandon instant provocation and dedicate themselves to campaigns of methodical persuasion. And motivating a mob? That may win you praise among those that are already in lockstep with your cause, but it makes enemies out of potential allies before they've learned how to spell your name, much less listen to the intricacies of your argument. Flag desecration is a get-attention quick scheme. It's cheap and reckless, and it causes tremendous collateral damage that only galvanizes people to fight against you. That's how hate works. And you can keep trying to convince people that what you're doing isn't hateful, but you'll never be able to convince yourself. That's because you know that if someone was jumping up and down on an object or image that was important to you, there would be no denying their true intention. Nothing productive comes from that. And you can continue to justify your actions as a response to a pre-existing culture of hate and claim that you're only fighting fire with fire, but in all my life, I've never seen a ladder company pull up to a burning building and pull out a flamethrower. If you want to put the fire out, water is what you're looking for. If you want to change the world, if you want to open our eyes to the truth and lead us to a brighter future, hate is never going to get you there. True leaders don't trade and blame or justify their sins with the misdeeds of others. They don't spend their time focusing on and fighting what is ugly. Instead, they dream for us a more beautiful world, and they convince us that with enough love and faith in each other, what seems impossibly far away is just a short walk together. To those of you frustrated and desperate for change, I'm willing to bet that if instead of putting the flag under your feet, you hold it high above and request an audience in the name of serving the great American undertaking it represents, that you'll find support in places you never imagined. I've met countless men and women in my life willing to fight for a just cause, a great many of whom salute the flag as a personal choice as much as an occupational necessity. Don't count them out. And to those who want to protect the flag, we have to stop being blinded by pride and content with mediocrity. We have to admit that we're not perfect, that there are injustices in our past and present that we have to account for. There are people that live in this country that feel ignored, mistreated, and worst of all, voiceless. Their desperation is what drives desecration. But despite what we see on the news or read in social media, most aren't stepping on or burning flags, and they deserve to be listened to. Don't paint with a broad brush. Whatever you think about flag desecration or the issues that drive it, I hope before you run off to wage war, you'll consider more productive pursuits. As Adlai Stevenson once said, patriotism is not short, frenzied outbursts of emotion, but the tranquil and steady dedication of a lifetime. In other words, everybody calm down.